but things seem to have settled down quite a lot. Temperatures currently 18 degrees, not too cool, great frisbee conditions. A slight easterly breeze moving from the right-hand side of your screen to the left.
And SpringChickens really thrive in zone. They thrive with their zone defense, and they thrive in their zone offense as well. And Blueberries, we see they really have the ability to Scott, Samantha Brown, and then Spirit Captain Samantha Brown and Sarah Kessens. For the rest of the team, we've got Crystal Lenke,
Tinta Tan,
Amy Lightborn.
Athleticism to really put one over on the SpringChickens. SpringChickens, on the other hand, very, very aware of that athleticism. Alice Stolpe, soon to become Alice Moore in February. Congratulations to her. Really wanting to put that person defense up, really wanting to test herself against the Blueberries' legs.
Lenke with a deep shot.
Tan on defense. Charlesworth, center field.
And it looks like SpringChickens are in one of their classic zones, managed to hide.
So really great start to the team. We've had some great defensive pressure put on. Really, really strong offense working the disc up the field. As I often say, there are only 3 teams in Ultimate that I support. The team playing offense it reasonably would have been had the pick not occurred. And so you'll have noticed that the teams themselves were making calls on the field. So there are no external arbiters in Ultimate. It's self-officiated.
That Blueberries defense, they're kind of setting in, really predicting some plays. We saw Meg Armstrong poaching in space. Here she is with the disc again, looking for that deep look. And really reading the space and shutting down that defense, leading to this beautiful turn.
But as we see that, that tight match defense from Blueberries, relying on the youth and athleticism. Great cut there by Lightburn through a little bit of cloggage in that center field.
We've got some beautiful flowing passes happening. You'll notice the throws are coming off right at the beginning of the stall count. And another great year with these defensive plays today.
Young with the disc. Armstrong in the red zone.
Blueberries right now looking for some beautiful swing passes, really stretching the field. You're seeing that they're not forcing any downfield looks. Open up downfield. We're seeing a lot of beautiful kind of chilly movements, and the turnovers that are happening right now are the ones that they're forcing downfield.
And so Armstrong to initiate the offense now. Working with Young in that downfield space. Tan with another attempt. Once again goes that little bit high. It's going to take a little while for the teams to adapt. Team that makes the adaptation the quickest is going to be the one that really puts the first couple of points on the board.
We've got a classic Penny Jackson, beautiful forehand hook there.
Lenke with the disc now, marked by Charlesworth. A little bit of mismatch in height there, but she's able to get a disc away. Winding up the big huck, holsters it twice, fires it off the third time. Charlesworth and Lenke again. Charlesworth goes early, takes a big swipe.
Oh!
The greater read, but we'll see that again. Charlesworth.
You mentioned the height mismatch there, but Lenke is known to climb up the staircase and control the sky. And you can rely on your teammates. You've got the depth to be able to do that. We've got Armstrong with the disc.
Great swing. Horvath. Tan threads through the middle of the zone. Great reception there. Anadolan streaking deep. The shot goes up. It's got a lot of float.
Oh!
Lenke with a great bid going over the top. Has put 2 massive defensive blocks, creating great separation in that deep space. Maybe a little bit much float on the disc, as she has to slow down to get there.
A bit of contact, no call on the field means it was definitely a clean play. Oh, O'Neill is looking for that deep shot, reeling it in to come under.
Great active defense there from Young.
Stopping that upline pass. That is classic.
And great defense there.
A long point to start the first game on Sunday.
Horvath just waiting for a great cut to develop. Not pressured by defense at the moment. Puts one out into...
So many years of experience and really drawing on that, as well as time having played together as teammates and knowing what they need and what they want.
Alice Stolpe already streaking deep, wide open. Great defense there by Huang to stop that huck going off. I bet Stolpe is frustrated by that. But manages the separation anyway. pulls it.
Punish that.
I was actually speaking with Alice Stolpe before the game, and I said, hey, you're going to want to go deep and just put the hands up and give the signal, say I'm there. Talk about a cold shot.
And Penny Jackson going for the forehand pull here.
We've seen a lot of those from her, as we were quite fortunate to have the SpringChickens Zodiac game first up streamed.
It is her MO, that strong forehand cut. Along with the disc.
It was a clean reception by Huang anyway, but the momentum of the players sort of carried into a collision. Huang making great use of that space, those triangle cuts, just moving around, keeping everything shifting. Hammer across field. Huvalan, the safe hands.
Absolutely. When you have a receiver like Huvalan, you know you can put a lot of throws her way and she'll reel it in.
One over the top. We see that SpringChickens coming down in that zone. Blueberries confident with the disc, quick movement.
And I love seeing these give and goes. Also these swing passes that Blueberries does so well. They do such a great job of spreading the field, using the whole space.
Kate Charlesworth in great position there. Tan open for a nice opportunity for an outside-in backhand to curve around the defender, but the shot doesn't come, and so defense gets set.
SpringChickens really taking advantage of the higher stall count to set their zone again, to accommodate for the movement and the breaking that Blueberries have done. Ooh. So one more time, Huang with the disc.
Working through that zone.
To make that swing pass around.
A scuba over the top. Lake finds Huvalan, goes right outside. A great layout bit minute of the game. Menzies with a great pull for the Blueberries as they come down on defense. We see Stolpe getting ready. Revving the engines, clean separation. The huck goes up. Linky for coverage.
And Tan with a mean closing speed there.
Expecting nothing less from Tan. Constant effort, but Stolpe closes out to Linky.
Is difficult to read. Her shoulder fakes. She's dominates that tight space when she needs to get open in a small vicinity. She really excels at that. She's a difficult player to mark. Stolpe just waiting for her to get open. She knows it's going to happen, just waiting for the right moment.
Beautiful pull.
It's got that hang time at the end there, which is what you really want to see in a pull. That's key. That's what every puller is trying to achieve. Hang time with the disc as it comes down slowly to allow the defense time to rush down the field and set that zone, to set that four-person cup with an assassin.
Still finding that the Blueberries were able to make that swing. It was a great pull, really. Moving towards that far sideline, and the SpringChickens defense getting in great position early. Young with the disc on the far sideline now. Getting into great position early to seal off the pass that would have recentered the disc and given the Blueberries a lot more width to work with.
And Blueberries really capitalizing on the fact that it's not, the wind has died down for a second, that tier conditions might be a bit more challenging, but that right now that they'll spread the field.
Some great defensive person defense from the Blueberries. But not enough to seal down the experience of the SpringChickens. Great fakes shifting the defense.
Again, that hard no around, hard no up line. We've got Scarlett, who was looking for that strike cut. Couldn't make that open shot for her teammate.
Great long put, but it comes off the fingertips of the intended receiver. So the disc swings back, the turn going back the other way. Now SpringChickens with an opportunity to close at about the halfway mark. Scuba up. Young not quite able to get there in time.
The disc is floaty.
Huang on defense and absolute with the Space Invaders in the mixed nationals in the previous couple of years. I had the good fortune of having her as a captain for the Topor Hat in 2019. Just really, really great leadership, great vision on the field. The kind of player that just can rally up the energy and really fire things up. Hammer back across fields.
And I think it's also important to note, along with that leadership and energy, she's got such an arsenal of throws in her back pocket as well. And they're looking for these deep shots.
Players have to know that either things are going to go exactly the same way or the exact opposite way. It's always a 50-50 shot. Beautiful reception by Gibson. She goes to ground.
Oh, threading the needle through the cup. And Blueberries are in their element right now. This is what they do best. Those quick passes, they're precise. They're finding the open players, and they make this zone offense just look easy.
Absolutely, and there are two main ways to break a zone. Particularly one is as well drilled and as well oiled as the SpringChickens one. You either move the disc around wherever possible to try and tire out the players who are on that chase, or you go over the top. Now, we know the Blueberries have those over-the-top shots in this wind. We've seen them throw lateral hammers a lot, but they haven't used those same throws to gain anything upfield.
Also, notably, trying to find that right receiver, it does give the defense a chance to make it more difficult to find those open shots, which is why it's advantageous to find the open player and swing it right away, resulting in a turnover. SpringChickens capitalizing right now.
But nothing deep happening for them upfield just yet.
Massive huck fake. Back in the safe hands of Scarlet, swinging the length of the field.
A little bit much if possible.
These points are, they're drawing out, they're long points. Both teams, you know, really putting the defensive pressure on. I think it's a strong defensive game, and that both of them are struggling to make it to the end zone to score the point finally. And we see, you know, walking up to the disc there, Huang and Siohani Royal both panting. You know, they're looking a bit tired. The score is 2-2, and they're really long points.
Great shot up, and Leung.
And I love that vision, you know, with the disc there. Over the top, as you were mentioning, Blair, those hammers really capitalizing on that open space. And Melody, that vision there, she sees kind of both sides of the field, so providing a bit of sideline presence and guidance. But that they were really excited last team to take it all the way. So this is the game for them to win. They really want this to follow up from last season, keep that momentum going, and win the national championships. Now, SpringChickens definitely with a few titles under their belts, under different team names. Penny Jackson with, again, her classic forehand huck into the safe hands of Stolpe.
No, to the surprise of no one, Stolpe streaking great defensive pressure by the remarkable Anna Dolan. Charlesworth on the far sideline. Tan in open space in the downfield. Lake.
So again, SpringChickens, they've won titles in the past with so much experience on their team and so much depth. They have won. They've got experience winning. They also have experience losing, but they know what they need to do to take this to the finals. On the other hand, Blueberries with this drive, tenacity, energy, and this goal in their minds. It comes down to whichever team wants it more, I think, at the end of the day, especially with such a close, tight scoring game.
Dolan moving deep.
And great backup.
To pull that one down for the Blueberries, going up 4-2 now over the SpringChickens. Momentum swinging slightly in the favor of our Northern Auckland team.
And the zone, that's kind of where they thrive. Switching up defensive plays can, you know, throw the other team on their back foot, even if they are really good at it, just changing it for 1 point. Looks like Blueberries have come down in person defense.
Linky to initiate. Great bid by Tan, not quite able to generate that turn. Some fantastic movement there. Hunsberger streaking deep.
Can she get there? Looks like the force was backhands there. So, you know, they are trying to take away those forehand throws. And Scarlet, she's such an experienced handler. She has three.
And we'll see if Slow and Steady win the race.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point as well, Blair. Because when you are hucking the disc and making those connections like that, for the Blueberries, and recognizing that, there's a few ways you can shut that down. One would be playing strong person defense, recognizing that deep space and just saying, hey guys, when you're the last back, when you're marking the deep, you need to be there shutting that down. And with the athleticism that the Blueberries have, they're definitely capable of that. So recognizing that and adapting to that is one way they could do that. Another way they could do that is by playing zone and keeping someone in that deep space. And again, as I've mentioned time after time, I'll promise I'll stop, guys, that SpringChickens do thrive in their zone offense. So we'll see how they do that. If they can reel this point in, score one more on the board, and come out on defense.
Just perfect movement by the Blueberries here. Just shifting the disc around. We saw a great crossfield hammer before. Melody Young on that near sideline doing some great work keeping the disc in. Huang in the red zone. Threads one through. Young to score.
Watching this game is seeing the positivity and the energy when both teams score points. How they're really cheering on their teammates. Massive smiles on all their faces as they're running in for the high fives.
So 5-3 now. Blueberries up over the SpringChickens, marking undercuts and deep cuts respectively, so that as those cuts develop, you've got a player already in position to seal that off. We see Anna Dolan kind of doing a bit of the same, looking to cover Stolpe here in that deep space.
Jackson centering to Waysbroad. Waysbroad back to Jackson.
So we're seeing the Blueberries come down in a zone now. Some great movement on that cup.
And this zone here with the kind of saggy handler marks is classic from Japanese women's zones, actually. And that forehand throw goes a bit, really forced the throw into space that they had covered.
So Blueberries to initiate the offense now, coming down against the SpringChickens zone themselves. Tam with the disc center field. More of a person defense by the looks. It looked like an initial sort of cup to try and maybe poach off to clog up some lanes, but moving back to that person defense. Huang finding Dolan, marked by Stolpe.
One thing I'm really enjoying right now from the Blueberries offense is we were seeing deep cuts being set off on every throw. And there we go, one of them comes up. And that's something that you really see out of experienced teams.
Great defensive bid, the defense, but Stolpe again streaking deep.
We'll match up one more time and,
Anna Dolan gets a tip, but carries the disc just a little downfield, enough float for Stolpe to get a hand to it again. And those gloves coming in handy.
It's situations like this where they say the classic phrase, catch your Ds.
Great pressure by Tan on the mark.
Waysbroad with the disc, commanding the field, looking for that swing. Not only are they offering opportunities, but that all of the players on the team have the ability to open up that deep space and have throws that are dangerous in every part of the field.
Could not agree more. Bender, center field now, working with Armstrong and Huang.
We've got a bit of a deep stack here. They do have the wind at their backs, but these undercuts aren't coming under. Maybe they're focusing on the handler movement. Huang, they're firing a deep shot.
Dolan and Charlesworth. Great. That kind of closing vision there from Anna Dolan, particularly as she's been working with Jamie Erickson from Jet, one of the great throwing coaches coming out of America at the moment, who's developed a one-of-a-kind personalized coaching program with customized drills and great evaluative support. Doing the impossible task of playing and providing commentary support. Big thanks as well to those who've joined us. In particular, Rachel Siahani Royal playing on the field now, SpringChickens number 27. One more, 6-4 now. Anybody's game. Tan trying to take away that forehand. Forcing towards that near sideline. The shot goes up. Comfortable. So the pull goes up as the SpringChickens come down on defense one more time, hoping to bring it back to a one-point game. Huang, quick swing up the far sideline. Yong Luing making great work of that disc. Pulling to the near sideline now. Getting Menzies involved, some great fakes there. Hunsberger on the mark. Gibson up the near sideline, great pressure. Forcing the disc to go backwards. Blueberries slowly losing position under the pressure of that zone, but able to quickly chip around to work through. Recentered to Menzies. Huang again, straight through, despite a great bid by Linky. It's not enough. Young with the disc. Menzies again. Again, these huge fakes. Managing to open up space. Gibson Near sideline, still forced to work backwards. Young filling in, but threads one through to Armstrong. Menzies again. Over the top, finding Linky. Hunsberger, great undercut, covered by Gibson. Now streaking deep, getting the separation. The vision is there. Linky to Scarlett, but a collision interrupts the flow of momentum. Straight 6-5 now. A close semi-final here. Fantastic game, great effort from both of these teams. Great work in that deep space, particularly on those turns. Kate Charlesworth, incredibly quick. Armstrong, a great and confident handler, working with Huang and Yong in that backfield space. Law, Armstrong sends the big one up. Bender's underneath it. There's the initiation again. Tan giving Armstrong a quick reset. Hong out into space comfortably. Through to Charlesworth, hoping to close. Having to look backwards to find Armstrong. Young. Armstrong again. Great defensive pressure that we're seeing there. Bender making a great cut into space to find it. Tan. Sends a long shot through. Our game to 15. The first team to score 8 points will take halftime. Give the teams a few minutes break just to rehydrate, to talk about strategy, what has and hasn't worked. There's a massive psychological advantage to taking that halftime. Stolpe sitting in that deep work there by Blueberries. Petra Horvath working with Coral Huang in that down handler space. Melody Young takes a knee, keeps the disc in bounds. Dolan went back the other way. SpringChickens with an opportunity. As SpringChickens look to start off their offense, hoping to put another point on the board, keeping it a 1-point game. Scuba over the top. Backhand through to Linky. High shot. Menzies underneath it, gets the D. Tournament. Super important as both these teams potentially have a final match ahead of them. Hulan in great space, covered by Linky. Horvath on the near sideline. Great movement there to open up space. Huang moving up line, pulling out her defense, able to give Menzies space to get through. They swap places. There it is. Despite great closing speed, the throw just... Hulan on the mark. Tries to get a bid, the backhand goes up. Dolan over link. Just a real great asset to the Blueberry side here. Defense, plus a great assist as well. Supported by Jamie Erickson from Jet. Hulan puts a long one up. Such a lovely put. Stolpe with that closing speed. 15 points up over Zodiac, uncontested. A great performance. They were expected to be seen in the finals. Stolpe hoping to put the Spring Chickens up against them as Diekma gets into space in the zone, marked loosely by Bender. Again. Marked by Leg. There it is. To take half here. Gibson, Armstrong, Menzies. Great shot, straight through. Finds Houvelam. Up. Hoping to isolate those mismatches. A big fake. Armstrong shuts that down. Goes for the reset instead. Big shot goes up, received cleanly. Spring Chickens hoping to close this one out, taking us to a Galaxy point. Laser beam through for we have ourselves a Galaxy point. The first team to score now will take half time. At Ngāpuna Sports Hub in beautiful Christchurch. Armstrong and Huang initiating the offense. Great outreach grab there by Armstrong. Puts an IO forehand straight into the hand. Going up over the impressive, the nigh unstoppable Spring Chickens. As we go to half time, we'll get to see that again. Great grab there by Armstrong. A low release, inside out forehand for dominating semi-final match between the Blueberries and Spring Chickens. My name is Blair Munro. Joined with me earlier was Kelsey Bielik, and I will be back with you very, very shortly. Now, Blueberries having won the flip at the beginning of the game. As they started on defense, they'll start the second half on offense. A great opportunity for them to widen that score, going 2 points up potentially. Petra Horvath and Huang initiating that offense. Some great quick disc movement. Tan on the far sideline.
Some great short passes between the players, but a strong defense coming from Spring Chickens.
Huang puts a big shot up. A lot of fade on it. Tan not on that disc. We still don't have a lot of wind. But the disc peeled away to...
On seeing the disc, and the wind has died down.
One more time, that efficient offense that we saw.
There it is, the 1 or 2, 3 passes from Spring Chickens where they just get it straight to the end zone.
Absolutely. So Diekma with the disc on the far sideline. Great. Horvath in great position there.
2 players here, both going for the swat, getting it to the ground. Blueberries getting it.
Ling to Young. To Menzies, great score. Defense is out of position. The defense can't do its job. Just 4 quick, uncontested passes. Menzies with a great score to put us 9-7. Blueberries over Spring Chickens for the semi-final match.
Blueberries extending their lead with not much time left on the clock.
Receivers like Stolpe, who's joined the line.
Unfortunate roll there for the Spring Chickens, but luckily coming back to them.
Armstrong and Charlesworth initiating that defense. Looks like we are seeing a zone coming through.
Round for the turnover.
Great defense there by Tan. Great vision.
Couple fakes.
Armstrong sends a big one up.
Step, it would have been out of bounds, but very close to getting a point there for the Blueberries.
Dolan not content with taking half. Hoping for a... Cone's going to do a great job of maybe sealing away most of the field from them. Stolpe goes long anyway, but
and
covered by
those
Dolan.
Deep passes from the Spring Chickens.
Great, really racking up those stats.
Blueberries immediately bringing back the speed of their short passes, making a lot of distance up the field.
Menzies, Houvelan with a great aerial grab to Tan. Dolan.
Fantastic play of the Spring Chickens and just making their way and identifying where in the end zone they can make those passes.
Just what a grab the momentum, the flow. Tan with a perfect assist. Or nothing,
There's absolutely more than just what we see on the field. The Blueberries have a lot of synergy when they're doing these plays and passing between. They're seeing where their teammates are available, but they also know how each other play, and they're able to execute off of that. We're seeing a strong offense and defense from Blueberries, which is getting them these points.
But again, the defense comes down. SpringChickens, clever disc movement. Big fakes, trying to open up that space.
Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a big pull here from SpringChickens.
I think Melody Young might have got a tip to that, but it's kept alive.
Great short passes here, just making their way up the field.
Sends the forehand up, a little bit of edge fading down. Scarlett.
Oh, unfortunately.
Fleets of Petra Horvath just on her heels, enough to make Scarlett
a lot of pressure from defense
guess that
there.
Jump. I love ultimate. Running as loudly as possible to make the offense think you're closer than you are.
Exactly it. And look at this. Blueberries made a great couple plays just to get them all the way back into their side, but on for this.
Absolutely. With a 3-point lead. The Blueberries having done a... Rachel Siahani Royal, who's I've had the good fortune of being joined by in the commentary box throughout this tournament. Great work in that handler space. Streaking deep, covered by Hooverlan. So it doesn't come. SpringChickens putting one up anyway.
Trying to make it work. Can it? This is a great example of throwing the frisbee to where your players can be as opposed to where they already are.
Absolutely. And when we see this one go up, the backhand go up, it's that late reaction, but the disc having enough float to we will see whether or not that has an impact on her throwing and catching.
Great low pull here from SpringChickens.
Finding Tan center field to Huang, threading up that far sideline to Charlesworth.
SpringChickens with the player-on-player marking, doing a great job. It will be a turnover in the SpringChickens' favor.
SpringChickens about 3. Callie, number 8 for the SpringChickens, known for the big forehands. Puts one up.
Potential recovery here. Unfortunately.
Hands of Hansberger. Huang establishing a pivot, pinned down on the near.
Great short passes here from Blueberry.
Oh, a call's been made, so there should be a stoppage.
Decide to do with the disc in this play. Going for the long one along the sidelines. Potential catch inbounds, unfortunately, just out.
And that really is one of the perils. If we watch this again, it is the kind of great, clean pass that Charlesworth could have run onto. Defense. That's the key thing. The defense just being in bounds, knowing you've got to pull that disc down as soon as possible.
This is also how wind can affect the game, because in previous games yesterday, we saw that there was a lot of wind able to blow them back in bounds. A large
Menzies with a great interception there. Just fantastic read. The Blueberries having to work back upfield, finds Young far sideline. A laser beam to Charlesworth. Quick reset in great position, floating one out of space.
In the end zone. Great defense there from SpringChickens. Almost a collision with the rugby post.
Yep, and it looks like Ling will make the call that a foul was made.
Bit of a replay here. We'll see. This is a potential contact in the act of catching. May have interrupted this.
Movement out of their throwing motion. So they throw and then quickly are moving on for the next option. They're not content to just watch the disc. And so trying to find out where they should have been.
Blueberries trying to spot somewhere where they can throw this disc to make a difference. Great couple passes here. Time to identify where in the end zone this disc can go to.
Great coverage on the defense.
SpringChickens not letting this go easy.
Young in that handler space.
Wouldn't be surprised if we saw some overhead throws there from Blueberries, as they were bringing a lot of those out earlier.
Not quite jumped in by Coral Huang to put another point on the board. Big floaty backhand.
Great intercept
Hansberger.
there. A turnover with SpringChickens can immediately just start going, while Blueberries has to reset their defense, and they'll probably be pretty tired after trying to make so much space in the last point.
Hansberger making great grabs over the top of Menzies.
Minor unintentional contact there, but play does resume. Oh, a long pull here from SpringChickens. Great. SpringChickens closing that gap, not giving up. great point here. Just floats perfectly down and able to be grabbed in the end zone.
So much separation. Pull with a little bit of skim there.
It was always great to get an extra bit of distance.
Horvath and Armstrong in the handler space for the Blueberries. Hooverland streaking deep, covered by Stolpe. It's a high shot, but Stolpe's not there.
A great way to cover the entire field, though. Blueberries able to apply a lot of pressure onto SpringChickens immediately in this point.
Huang gets up.
Well executed.
Olin doing some great work here. Just collecting highlight after highlight.
Great couple fakes, making space for players, and just identifying who's available.
Armstrong puts one up.
And then just the immediate pass to the player in front. Great job.
Work in the downfield space for the SpringChickens this game.
Great pull here from Blueberries. One that will float down quite slowly, giving them a lot of time to set up a good defense. Seems they are resuming back to the player-on-player marking.
Puts the backhand up. Stolpe in great position.
Here. Great catch here.
Hooverland not able to get one.
Unfortunately, just the Frisbee, there's no wind to harness. You have to throw that disc at just the right angle that you're hoping. But unfortunately, it just doesn't curve back in.
Them to work up. Some great disc movement there, great person movement as well. Huang making a great strong up the line cut to give space for Melody Yong right around the halfway line. Puts a backhand up.
It's a deep one. Will SpringChickens secure this? Oh, great defense there.
The Blueberries to shut that one down.
As we see on the replay, just Blueberries getting in there and making sure it just can't be well.
What a dynamic game. Some fantastic ultimate on display. The very best probably that we've seen so far outside of the Women's Showcase game. A great forehand goes up. Len Charlotte just south of the halfway line.
We resume play. Great defense there from Blueberries, and they won it at the halfway point.
Charlesworth with a great explosive defense. Really develops into a great deep cut, but not yet rewarded.
Blueberries now working on the side of the field they're comfortable with.
Armstrong to Charlesworth on the far sideline. Great up the line movement. Scarlett not able to cover it. Quick defensive switch to really shut down the next pass, but Armstrong's in a great position. Puts one through to Huang for the great...
Sideline is always risky, as we'll see on the replay, because you just have to make sure your teammate is able to reach it without stepping out of bounds, which we've seen a couple times this game. But here we see it work perfectly, and the Blueberries able to secure this point. And we're off. A great pull here from the Blueberries.
Great chase by the Blueberries defense now. High backhand.
Great catch there. That was risky. I was a bit worried that would be a turnover on behalf of the SpringChickens. But they're doing a great job at just waiting and being patient. But
Horvath with the big bomb. Not.
We might have a cut here from SpringChickens. I wouldn't be surprised if they went deep. No, working their way up the field. Great catch there. Almost slipped between the fingers of SpringChickens, but they're keeping position here and can keep applying pressure. We're now 0 minutes on the clock, so after the next point, the score to reach will be one above the highest point. Unfortunately.
At about the three-quarter mark, we see Armstrong putting one up to Yong on the near sideline, closing out. Second bid.
Great recovery as she caught it and it bounced out of her hand, but she did recover and was able to dive and catch it.
And that is really one of the things about the high-level ultimate that we're seeing on display here. These players have such fantastic focus.
Absolute commitment.
And we always say, depending on who scores this next one, Menzies puts the pull up.
We had the same minor confusion yesterday when a play ended with 20 seconds left on the clock and the time ran out between plays. SpringChickens hoping to make something happen if they're going to want this lead.
Charlesworth nearly getting a bite out of that one again.
Unfortunate turnover here. Blueberries.
Huang and Menzies in the backfield. And again, great up the line movement.
Stop with speed, getting the hand out there, managing to swat it out the air. Great
Scarlett
turnover.
now.
SpringChickens trying to identify some space. Great defense though.
Huvilan over-committing on the mark, allowing the reset to come away. Lenke right outside. Great reset there. Huvilan trying to put the mark on, but Lenke, a game to 14 it'll be.
This is great for SpringChickens though, as they've made it a lot.
And a Dolan.
Great low pull with a lot of distance from SpringChickens.
Now my prediction for the final point of the game, particularly as we know the Blueberries, what they like on offense, Huvilan makes a great isolation cutter in the end zone. She's so agile, she's so explosive.
I imagine a lot of patience and a lot of passes between handlers. Not playing anything risky. They are ahead by a couple points. They just need that 1 point.
Now if the Blueberries can work their way up to the end zone and set up an isolation
With strategies.
Siahani Royal, number 27 for the SpringChickens on the mark. Great defense by SpringChickens.
As
Great minds think alike.
This is what we said might happen. SpringChicken
Or other players on the field.
I would not be shocked to see a deep throw here from SpringChickens and just trying to get into the end zone where they have players, as they've been very famous for doing in this game.
Great disc movement there. Great shifting the mark.
Seeing some great passing between handlers.
Puts one through. Well received. There
it is. The one that we assumed might happen if this is a catch.
Job. Her second point for the SpringChickens, as well as a great defensive interception earlier on in the game.
The SpringChickens comeback looking more and more possible with the more breaks that they get.
13-11,
I believe. 2 more breaks and the game will be tied up. These soft caps. So I've seen a lot of close games across this tournament.
And it's exactly the kind of ultimate, because you're quite new to the sport of ultimate, aren't you?
Yes, the first game I commented was the first game I'd seen live.
You are in for a treat, sir, as New Zealand team's really putting on some fantastic ultimate for you to introduce you to the sport, to show you what
a great deep pass
team are
here.
capable of. Those mirror matchups, 23 versus 23.
A great long pass here. And unfortunately, an opportunity just
Close that game out. Bender marking up against Scarlett.
SpringChickens got the turnover, going for a deep pass. Unfortunately, another
Tended receiver from peeling back towards it.
Once again, though, I wouldn't be surprised if we just see some great movement and working up the field from the handlers here. Just making their way up the field, as the Blueberries often do. I would be surprised to see a deep pass.
But it comes anyway. Armstrong with a big shot. Menzies pressured by Lenke.
To catch this disc, there's a lot of pressure from SpringChickens, which is possibly making the difference between whether these are caught or not.
Crystal Tang, great defense. What's up in Christchurch? Armstrong.
A turnover in the side of the field that the Blueberries wanted. A point could come from this.
Puts the backhand up.
Pass. Unfortunately, I think SpringChickens have the better positioning. No, a simple intercept there for SpringChickens.
That is the peril. So a player like Melody Young, incredibly fit, great receiver, an almost irresistible target in the end zone, despite the coverage from Scarlett, number 4, pressuring that one. Lenke working up the line.
But great the other half of the field.
Just some great work here by Game.
Blueberries getting a lot of opportunities, making a lot of opportunities with this great defense. They can try a lot of things. They've got a lot of time. They've got all the time they need. They just need the point.
Puts the laser beam through De Leon. Tan.
Unfortunately, just too low, and it takes the disc to the ground.
For SpringChickens this morning. She's going deep, covered closely by Charlesworth. What great defense there.
Blueberries aren't going to let this happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if SpringChickens still attempt it.
SpringChickens putting some great movement.
Great defense here and commitment from Blueberries. SpringChickens doing a great job of keeping on to position.
Lenke to Diekma. Being forced to work back around.
Hammer fake. Great positioning there.
Scarlett puts the backhand up to Sculpey. Pulls it down. Well, you could not have been more right.
Another deep pass and just positioning the players in the end zone and able to get that point. A much closer game. SpringChickens
Ultimate Frisbee is a sport that's just played at high school level and youth, but at the club level like this, we're seeing some of the best athletes in the country really leaving everything behind. Horvath and Huang in that handler space, wanting to seal this one away.
Trying to find space. Handlers still, Blueberries doing the technique they do best, which is passing between handlers, making space, identifying where they can take it forward, making their way up the field.
Huvelan hoping to close.
Blueberries have it on the side of the field that they want it to be.
Horvath and Huang maybe getting a little bit.
Great catch there. That took a lot of reach from Blueberries, but managing to keep it. Any turnover now can be the difference between the game.
Absolutely. So we're seeing a little bit of clogging in the handler space, which is why, thankfully, they were able to thread up the sideline and find Melody Young, who closes out with pass.
We'll see it on the replay. Doing a great job of just passing, identifying. Again, a good example of Blueberries working the sideline. A well-deserved win.
To Young, fires one out. Parsons with the grab, number 19, a fantastic job in Christchurch. 14-12 as Blueberries go to meet Nexus Affinity in the finals, which we will have coming up for you very shortly. But next up, we have Dogme from Wildcats, both two